Just 60 years ago, Singapore was a country plagued by unemployment, poverty, and sectarian strife. But today, the same Singapore has become the richest, safest, and largest financial center in the world. It has no oil, no minerals, and not much land. Yet it has capital and power that many large countries do not have. The country that looks like a small dot on the map has become the heart of the entire world's economy today. How did such a miracle happen? Was it just the hard work of the people or some other reason? Let's know the tremendous story of Singapore, which proves that it is not resources, but thinking and intention that make a country great. Chapter 1. Pre-independence. Singapore and British trading ports. In 1819, Sir Stamford Raffles settled Singapore as a British trading outpost. This place was near the Strait of Malacca, where there was a natural harbor with depth and resources like fresh water, wood, and iron also available. The British planned to build a new port here like Malacca to compete with the Dutch. At that time, there was only one small Malay village in Singapore, but Raffles established his port by compromising with the local kings. Singapore grew rapidly in the 1830s, where merchants such as Chinese, Indians, and Malays began to come, and business began to solidify. It was from here that Singapore became an important trading center of Southeast Asia, which later laid the foundation of today's modern and wealthy Singapore. Chapter 2. Independence and Early Challenges of 1965. When Singapore separated from Malaysia in 1965, it was a very small and scarce country. Its economy was weak, the domestic market was small, unemployment was around 14%, and poverty was widespread. 70% of the people lived in overcrowded houses, and about 1/3 of the population was living in slums. The per capita income was just $516, and half the population did not even know how to read or write. Moreover, Singapore did not have natural resources and was heavily dependent on its neighboring countries. Different cultures, post-war situations, and geopolitical pressures also added to the difficulties. In such an environment, the biggest challenge before the country's leaders was how to propel this limited-resourced, low-skilled population. Chapter 3. Lee Kuan Yew's Economic Reform and Governance Model. Lee Kuan Yew's able leadership lifted Singapore from poverty and disorder to prosperity and stability. His People's Action Party ran a clean and strict government that promoted hard work, discipline, and honesty. In 1961, he created the Economic Development Board to attract foreign investment, and for this, factories, technical institutions, and the financial sector were rapidly developed. Between 1965 and 1973, Singapore's GDP grew by an average of 12.7% every year. The government invested heavily in infrastructure, such as roads, ports, electricity, and also prioritized education and skill development, which enhanced the capacity of the people. Policies such as no capital gains tax won the trust of investors across the world. Lee Kuan Yew believed that the lack of resources could be made up by good men and strong policies, and his tough but effective policies made Singapore a country with an honest and strong system. Chapter 4. Development and Infrastructure, Ports, Airports, Logistics. Singapore has built superb infrastructure with very few resources. The biggest example of this is its port, which is the second busiest port in terms of freight traffic in the world and is considered to be the world's largest hub in terms of transshipment. Apart from this, Changi Airport is also counted among the best airports in the world, where passengers get very comfortable convenience and tremendous connectivity. Due to these reasons, both trade and tourism in Singapore got a rapid boost. Jurong Industrial Area, Free Trade Zone, and modern logistics parks have also been built there. Singapore's infrastructure quality score in 2019 was more than 95.4, which is the highest in the world. Good roads, ports, air cargo facilities, and development such as the International Business Park have attracted investors from all over the world. All this made Singapore an important center for trade between East and West. Chapter 5. Education and Skilled Workforce Development. Singapore has invested a lot of money and hard work in education, due to which it has become ahead at many international levels. The 15-year-old children here achieved the top rank in the world in subjects like mathematics and science. All this happened because the syllabus is strong, Both English and the mother tongue are taught. There are good teachers, and practical skills are also taught to the children. The Singapore government also paid full attention to technical education, polytechnic colleges and universities, so that students of all levels become skilled. Every year, millions of young people study in fields such as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This created an educated and skilled workforce that helped industries grow. Foreign companies also came to Singapore because the youth here were capable and qualified. This human capital became a strong foundation of Singapore's leadership model. From higher education to jobs, there is continuous training, which increases people's productivity and also creates new ideas. Chapter 6. The Rise of the Financial Sector and Regulatory Strengthening. Singapore implemented very strict rules to strengthen its financial sector. The Monetary Authority of Singapore made the banking system safe and reliable. Today, there are more than 150 banks and financial institutions, including large domestic banks such as DBS, UOB, and OCBC. For example, DBS Bank has total assets of around $450 billion, making it the largest retail bank in Asia. Singapore's banking assets reached almost 170% of its GDP in 2020, which shows how big the banking sector is. Apart from this, SGX, i.e., Singapore's stock exchange, is counted among the most important stock markets in Asia. Many of the world's largest financial companies, such as HSBC and Citibank, also have their regional headquarters here. Investors also gain confidence due to strict regulations and transparency in Singapore. Here, business deals, currency exchange, and loans are conducted in a very honest and clean manner. Singapore's currency is also stable, and financial crimes are closely monitored. For all these reasons, Singapore has become a global financial center, where money flows in and out from Asia and the rest of the world. Chapter 7. Tax Policy and Ease of Doing Business. Singapore's tax system is very easy and liberal. Here, companies are taxed at only 17%, which is considered quite low in the world. At the same time, the tax on people's earnings is also low and balanced. There is no tax on capital gains or inheritance, which motivates people to invest more. For this reason, investors from all over the world are attracted to Singapore. Singapore has also created a very friendly business environment. Singapore is always at the top of the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business ranking. Singapore has signed free trade agreements with 27 countries, including the US, Europe, China, and India, removing tax and other barriers to trade. Similarly, Singapore is an active member of the WTO and is also at the forefront of Asia-Pacific trade forums, such as ASEAN and APEC. Because of all these things, Singapore is counted among the most corruption-free countries in the world. Its tax policy and ease of doing business won the confidence of investors, which led to a steady flow of money and growth. Chapter 8. Temasek Holdings and the Role of GIC. Singapore has created two large government funds called sovereign wealth funds, Temasek Holdings and GIC. Their job is to invest the country's savings worldwide. Temasek was formed in 1974 and invests in government companies, such as telecommunications and banking. At the same time, GIC started in 1981, and it handles Singapore's foreign exchange reserves. In 2023, GIC had assets of about $770 billion and Temasek about $382 billion, which is part of the country's retirement savings and international reserves. Due to these two funds, Singapore's economy remains very strong. These funds protect the country's savings even when there is a recession in the world, oil shortages, or exchange rate fluctuations. The government gives these funds the freedom to work in the market so that they can earn good profits even in fluctuations. The money generated from these funds is used for social security, infrastructure, and other essential projects. Because of this, Singapore is able to easily face any future financial shocks. Chapter 9. Technology, FinTech, and Innovation Ecosystem. In modern times, Singapore has made technology and new ideas an important part of its development. Under the Smart Nation program, digital infrastructure such as a national data network, IT-based services, and strong cybersecurity has been created across the country. FinTech was promoted in the banking sector, with the Monetary Authority creating a FinTech sandbox so that new startups could easily test their innovations. Every year, the Singapore FinTech Festival brings together the world's experts, investors, and policymakers. Technology startups are also growing rapidly here, and Singapore's startup ecosystem is counted fourth in the world. This is where successful companies like Shopee, Grab, and Garena have come from. The government also invested heavily in research and development, and by 2024, more than $50 billion was spent. Due to this technological environment, financial services were also strengthened, and experiments were done in areas such as blockchain, artificial intelligence-based payment systems, robotics, and biotechnology. In this way, Singapore prepared its business model for the future by mixing high-tech innovation with traditional industries. Chapter 10. Role as Asia's banking and trade hub. Singapore has made its presence felt across Asia on the strength of its geographical location and commercial environment. A large number of multinational companies run their regional headquarters, banking, manufacturing, services. The Singapore Exchange is a large stock exchange in Asia, and the country is a leader in financial services connecting world markets. There are more than 150 local and foreign banks in the country, including the world's top financial institutions from many countries, including India, Japan, and the United Arab Emirates. Singapore is also the biggest hub for trade. It is routed by Asian exports and imports. Trade relations with China, India, Europe, and the US all made it a global trade hub. 1/3 of the world's petroleum and container trade is connected to Singapore. Apart from this, Singapore also has a role as a petrodollar market and a reserve of gold. All this has made Singapore an attractive destination for investors. Millions of tons of goods pass through here every year, and billions are traded here daily in bank transactions. Chapter 11. Geopolitical Strategy and Absolutism. Singapore has made a strong mark in the world with its sensible diplomacy. It has never fully co-authored any one major power. That is, it has not sided with the Soviet Union before, nor is it dependent only on the US or China today. Its policy is to keep good relations with neighboring countries and at the same time remain active in international organizations like ASEAN, WTO, and the UN. Singapore has also kept its defense strong. Its army is equipped with modern weapons, which makes people feel safe. Despite being an ally of the US, Singapore also maintains good trade relations with China. In this way, it strikes a balance between the two major powers, the US and China, in order to benefit from both. Because of this neutral policy, investors from all over the world also trust Singapore, because they know that this country will not fall into the trap of any one superpower. It has also given Singapore the image of a peaceful and trustworthy country, which always maintains friendly relations with its neighbors. Chapter 12. Challenges of the Future, Inequality, Housing, Automation. The question is how Singapore will maintain its spectacular success in the times to come. There are many challenges in front of it. First, the population is aging rapidly. The number of people over 65 is 16%, and by 2030 this will be 21%. This will lead to a shortage of workers and will increase the pressure on social schemes like pensions. That's why the government is raising the retirement age and supporting families. The second challenge is the growing gap between rich and poor. Despite the earnings of big companies and government help, common people are finding it difficult to buy homes and cope with inflation, as the prices of HDB flats have increased rapidly. Because of this, the government has also tightened the loan limit. In addition, technology and automation will also have both effects. Production will increase on the one hand, but traditional wage jobs may shrink on the other. Therefore, the government is emphasizing teaching people new skills by retraining, but it will not be easy to balance it. Another serious challenge is climate change. Rising sea levels and threats such as unseasonal heavy rains or storms are a major threat to island nations like Singapore. Yet Singapore has always turned every difficulty into an opportunity. Ahead with education, innovation, and good governance, these challenges can be overcome. Just to see how. If you enjoyed this enlightening journey, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video.